What's going on? Mike Neumann here with Inside Natural Bodybuilding at the conclusion of the 2013 INBA PNBA Natural Universe just took place here in Chicago, Illinois. We're actually at the after party here, Bar Louie. Kiyoshi Moody was in town judging this show. He's just weeks out from the Natural Olympia. But Kiyoshi, what do you think about the whole show? I mean, a deep lineup, stacked lineup of pros. What was your take on that?
Mike, the quality of competitors, it was outstanding. You had, pros from IFBA, NGA, the PNBA. There was another organization that actually came from Canada, which I didn't even know about. A competitor came down from Canada. So, you had pros from every organization just about down here.
Yeah.
Because Denny's inviting all pros down here. So the quality of competitors was really, really good.
Yeah. And I've been building this show up for months. That it's the super show of natural bodybuilding in 2013. Some people have disagreed with me. I did say outside of the IFBA, WBF, but the thing is, in this show, all pros were invited. So if you wanted the chance to compete against the world's best, this was your shot to take the stage. And even if it's about the money, it was $4,000 for first place. A lot of pro shows don't give that much money. So as a pro, that shouldn't even be an issue, okay? So this was, and we've been hyping it up, and it lived up to the hype, I think. I mean, it's probably the best natural universe maybe ever. I'll have to go in history. We'll ask John Hansen that question, see what he has to say about that. But let's talk about 6th through 1st. Alan Powell, 6th place. What was your take on him?
Alan Powell, he brought good conditioning, good muscularity. The only part is he's short.
Yeah,
that's where it comes down to where he's competing against bigger competitors. So if he's competing against somebody like a Rico or Marshall Johnson, even like Darren or like the bigger competitors, he looks a little bit shorter. He looks small, but he really brought a lot of conditioning. He brought a lot of muscularity for his size.
Yes.
So I mean, he's a very good competitor. He could move up very, very quickly.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So be on the lookout for Alan Powell. And in 5th place, Mike Martino. Here was a guy I had high on my radar. I had him in 2nd place. That was a prediction I made on the radio show last week. I've seen him look better, but he still deserved to be in the top 5 of the stacked lineup. He still beat some pretty good pros. Mike Martino is an established pro. He's a top pro, always competitive. But on this day, 5th place, even 4th place, he could have finished as high as, but that was about as good as he was going to do. What was your take on Mike Martino?
Mike Martino, when I talked to some of the judges afterwards, when he came out of the first lineup, he looked good, really, really good. When the prejudging went on a little bit longer, he got a little bit smoother, and he kind of softened out. So that kind of hurt him a little bit. But at the same time, I'm going to tell a lot of the other competitors out there, whether you believe me or not, it's going to be up to you guys. I see a lot of competitors use Dream Tan, and I told Mike Martino like a week or 2 weeks ahead of time. I said, are you going to use Dream Tan, or are you going to use Pro Tan, or Liquid Sun Rays? He's going to use Dream Tan. I said, the only thing is about Dream Tan, if you start to smooth out, it's going to make you look bad real quick, and that's exactly what it did. And when you're smooth, the only person that could actually get away with it and look sharp, there's only one person, and it's Rico. And because the level of conditioning that he brings, he can use Dream Tan and not look smooth. So, but a lot of times when you use Dream Tan, and especially with Mike Martino, the conditioning, the factor that the prejudging went a little bit longer because they were moving people around, he got smooth, and that hurt him. But when he came out, he popped his conditioning. He popped right away. Yeah. But as long as his conditioning went on, he just started smoothing out a little bit more.
Well, some pros can get better as prejudging goes on, posing more, can't they? So what's the difference maker there? Why did he smooth out when others would normally pop even better?
Sometimes it could be, it comes down to what you ate, the lack of carbs, or the water that you have in you, or the lack of water that you don't have, the sodium that they might have manipulated sodium. I don't know what his protocol was.
Okay.
So sometimes it could be when you're posing for 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like what I did with that 1 year. After about 20 minutes, you can deplete your glycogen stores really, really quick. Yeah. And then have nothing left, and you can start flattening out right away because you haven't had enough carbs. Okay. Because most prejudging, they don't last maybe 15, 20 minutes at the most. Yeah. But when you have a good quality stacked lineup, if they start moving people around, it's going to be a little bit longer. Okay.
Well, they're moving people around quite a bit. Darren Steen stayed next to Rico most of prejudging. The prediction I had for Steen was 7th place, right down there. I had him out of the top 5 regardless. After prejudging, I changed my mind. I put him back in the top 5, no higher than 4th. 4th, 5th, 6th is where I had Darren at, somewhere in there. He finished up in 4th place. What'd you think, Kiyoshi? I mean, I think he deserved to be in the top 5. What was your take?
He did. I mean, it's, a lot of people think that, I don't like Darren too much, but, I have mutual respect for all competitors out there. And with Darren, when I talk to him a lot, whether it's text or messages, people that they don't get to see these things, I try to give him constructive criticism, critiques.
Yeah. And
he knows, what I'm trying to say. His upper body is always hard. When he hits that back double bicep, it's hard. His upper back is really, really hard. And he knows the things that he needs to work on, like with his legs. 4th place, he had good conditioning. And, Darren's a character. So, he has fun on stage.
Yeah.
And so he makes you look at him. So, a lot of competitors, they'll go out there and boom, and you see him, and that's it. He actually goes out there, he makes the judges look at you, and which is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
So 4th place, I'm very, very happy for him. I'm very, very proud of him that, he actually came back, he placed good in a good lineup. He beat a lot of quality pros. So, that should be, and I know he wanted to place in the top 3.
Yeah.
But 4th place for him, that's huge, especially in this type of lineup.
Yeah, I'd say so, and he certainly has fun on stage. But Darren, if you're watching, you got to work on your dancing skills, my man. And Marshall Johnson said he'd be willing to give you some free lessons, so you might want to take him up on that. Let's talk about 3rd place, Meshach. This guy came out of nowhere. I mean, what do you know about this guy?
Like I talked to you, a couple weeks before that. I do a lot of when I find out a competitor's in the show, I do a lot of research on the competitor. And this kid is about 5'1" and is thick. I mean, he's just a big brick house.
Yeah.
And he is just unbelievably thick.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw him, I was like, good Lord. And I'm not going to sit here and sit there and lie. I'm like, this guy, look at this guy. He's just thick. Why is he competing? He looks like he's an IFBB guy.
Yeah.
He's thick.
Yeah.
But, I don't pass judgment on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's one thing I don't do. And, he was out there, he was competing, he took his test, he's out there competing. So, judging wise, he had decent level conditioning. It wasn't the best where it should be.
Right.
But it wasn't like a Marshall Johnson or a Rico.
Potential's there.
Exactly. But, and actually I referred him to Cliff Wilson, so I hope Cliff, that you work with this kid, he can.
Yeah, ooh, that'd be nice.
He'd be
dangerous.
Woo!
You gave him to Cliff Wilson?
Yeah.
Nice.
He brings that
Hopefully
much muscularity.
Yeah.
So if he nails his conditioning, and I just found out right now from Denny that he is coming to the Olympia.
Okay.
They're gonna help him out with some money.
All right.
And so that's another thing. Denny's gonna help him out with some money and get him some sponsors so he can actually get out to the Natural Olympia.
Yeah.
And because his thing was he actually was gonna go back to Kenya and stay there and visit his family. But Denny convinced him he's gonna come out to the Natural Olympia and compete at the Natural Olympia.
Okay. Well, the predictions were made on the radio show. I did call Marshall Johnson in second place, so at least I got the top two right. Okay, Marshall Johnson, second place. To me, it was an obvious second place. I had to look at some other guys, compare with other people. Certainly wasn't beating Rico, but I did have to compare with you guys. But he did end up getting second place in my book. What'd you have on him?
I had Marshall in second. I mean, his level of conditioning, especially for his age.
52.
I was like blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's 52. I'm like, damn, well, I'm retiring right now. And I'm 43.
That means you got
oh,
years
well,
left. That means you're not retiring this year.
Yeah, I'm retired. I'm retired this year. But his level of conditioning was, it's to me it can almost equal Rico's conditioning. Almost.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
right.
in certain areas,
Sure.
he's very, very conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all the competitors, him and Rico, conditioning wise, and there's everybody else.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, as far as what when you talk about conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, only thing is with Marshall, and he knows it's his size.
Yeah.
Compared to Rico. When you stand next to Rico, and you got to have size, you got to have some size, and you got to have some kind of conditioning.
Yeah.
Marshall has a conditioning, especially for his age. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, certainly. I'm sure he made Rico sweat just a little bit, though. Okay, but in the end, Philip Ricardo Jr. is the PNBA National Universe champion 2013. So, and that was in dominant fashion too. I mean, he just came in and destroyed. The whole Body Evolution team came in and destroyed. Actually, Craig Bitton won his classes. Andrew Burton did really well, and they just all were just fired up. Jason Hansen, of course, won Pro Men's Physique in dominant fashion as well, I might add. What was your take on Rico, and what do you think? I mean, if you had to compete against Rico, say in the condition he's in now, you compete against him at the Natural Olympia if he decides to show up. Based on what you've seen tonight, okay, do you think he's got a shot at beating you?
You always put me on the spot.
Well,
of course.
You know,
it's with myself and Rico. You never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with myself. I only can speak for myself,
mm-hmm.
but with myself, I know what I have to do. To beat Rico, I can't lose size.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I do have over him.
Can't lose size.
I can't lose size. He has conditioning over me. So if I could, I always think to myself, and it came down to when we did the IFPA Pro,
Yeah.
I have to come close to conditioning wise as much as I can without losing so much size.
Good strategy.
But like with Rico, I already know we've been competing since 1998, and we've done so many shows against each other. I know what he's gonna bring. He knows what I'm gonna bring.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
It's just who's gonna show up on that day, and who's gonna you can be off.
Yeah.
You can completely be off, and boom, he can take it away just like that.
Okay. Do you think your conditioning is going to be better this year than it was last year? Is it going to be just a shade better than it was last year? What's your take on that? Where do you see yourself?
Well, considering after I ate my Twinkies, I don't know.
Exactly.
No, but usually, and everybody's gonna know now because I'm actually spilling the beans. But usually, when I diet for a show, Mike, it's always anywhere between 6 to 7, 8 weeks out, no more than that.
Really?
When I diet for a show, my metabolism is so fast, and I've learned how to do certain things with my metabolism and what I can eat and what I can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this time, actually, I started with 14 weeks.
Okay.
And so, I mean, there's only one person that's actually took a look at me. He took a look at me last night, and he was really impressed with what he saw. So, to beat Rico, it's going to be a battle. I hope he shows up to the Natural Olympia. And we've talked, and I really do hope he shows up.
Well, so do I, because when it comes to Natural Olympia, at a lot of these shows, it's, let's just be frank, you and then everybody else. You need some competition. If it's a true Natural Olympia, it can't be dominant fashion. You need some competition rivals. And I can't think of too many names that could give you a true rival, but if Rico doesn't show up and this guy Meshach shows up under Cliff Wilson's tutelage for a few more weeks, that'd be interesting. But I'd still like to see Rico there just because he makes it a more fun competition. So we'll see when it all pans out. So November 9th, go to naturalbodybuilding.com for more information on the Natural Olympia and some events near your area and results of these shows. Check it out. Kiyoshi, any last words?
I just want to thank Denny Keikos, Mike Neumann,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody out there. This was a fabulous show.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that attended the Natural Universe, it was a show that that you had to be here and you had to watch.
Yes.
The electricity that happened at this show was it was just different.
Yeah.
And when the pros hit the stage, and even in the Masters, I'm gonna tell you about even the Masters Pro was good.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pros came out of the audience and they were posing out there, everybody was snapping pictures.
Yeah.
The excitement went up tenfold. It was very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, all the pros had a big overall pose down. Some shows do without the overall pose down now. We didn't skip a beat when it came to the pose downs. That was part of the best show right there. And just the kind of pros that showed up. And also the audience, I noticed, didn't leave until the very end. Well, that's because you guys were at the end. Because a lot of shows are doing it with bikini at the end now. I don't know if you noticed that yet or not. It used to be open men at the end, and the audience was almost gone. Well, now bikini's been going at the end of the amateur shows, which was the case tonight, but then you guys went on after bikini, right?
Yeah.
But the whole audience was there.
Yes.
And yes, because you guys were there. Let's just see that happen with the open men now. But yeah, that's the reason the structure of these shows are changing. But cool. All right, well, I'll keep you guys updated on Kiyoshi. We'll have him on the podcast again sometime soon. And I'll keep you guys updated on his prep for the Natural Olympia on November 9th. Go to naturalbodybuilding.com for info on that. Until next time, Kiyoshi Moody, 4-time Natural Olympia champion. I'm Mike Neumann. You're watching Inside Natural Bodybuilding. Thanks for